Hi everyone, welcome to another maths video with Maths with Sarah. Today we're going to be looking at a few of the first questions from a non-calculator paper. So this is an AQA paper. It's taken from June 2018. So this is the first question on the paper. I just said it's quite a tricky one, and there's a few different steps in it. But before I start tackling this question, I just want you to take a moment, maybe pause this video, have a think about how you would do this question, or even do it yourself if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. I'll talk you through it in a minute. Okay, hopefully you're back now. Hopefully you've either had a chance to solve the question or have an idea about what you would do, how you would tackle this question. If you've got no idea, don't worry. I'm going to talk you through it now, step by step. So we've got this sum. It's asking you for the cube root of 64 times 1,000. Now, there are a few different ways you could tackle this. And I think the thing that most people would do when they first look at this question is to tackle the bit that's under the bracket of the cube root. So that would give you the cube root of 64,000. Now, I don't know about you, this is a non-calculator paper, and to me, there is no way I would be able to do the cube root of 64,000 in my head without a calculator. Absolutely no way. So, while if this is an easier sum, or if this is a smaller cube root, then absolutely, I'm fairly sure that this would be a very good way of doing it. Because it's such a large number, I don't think it's going to be the best way of tackling this question. So we're going to have to find a different way of doing it. So the alternative way of doing it that I would suggest is to look at each of these separately. So we can think of this as the cube root of 64 times by the cube root of 1,000. And that makes these two slightly easier to tackle. So if we think of cube numbers, I think this is the easiest way of doing it because not many people know all their cube roots off by heart. If you do, then great. If you don't, then I think it's often easier to have a think about it. So if we go through some of the cube numbers, 1 cubed is the same as, just a reminder if you're not quite clear, 1 times 1 times 1, which obviously equals 1. Then if we look at 2 cubed, this is again 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 3 cubed, so 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. And we'll do 4 cubed. So this is 4 times 4, which is 16, times 4, which is 64. So hopefully you've realised you found that the cube root of 64 is 4. Now, for the cube root of 1,000, we can be fairly sure that this is likely to be a multiple of 10. So if we try, just purely because it's got the number of zeros that it's got on it. So if we try doing 10 cubed, so that's the same as 10 times 10 times 10. And you'll notice that this, so 10 times 10 would give us 100, times 10 again would be 1,000. So that is obviously the answer that we need. So we've got this down to 4 times 10, which gives us the answer 40. And luckily, that is one of the answers that has been given as one of the options. So always good when that happens. Hopefully that made sense to you. Hopefully you're able to understand and follow the steps in the question. And think about the different ways of doing things. You don't necessarily have to do what seems like the obvious route. So a number of people would have got to this stage and then got stuck thinking, how do I do it? At that point, I would suggest if there's no way you think you can do it, go back to the original question and have a think about if there's an alternative method. So in this case, splitting it up actually made a lot more sense and made the question a lot easier. So please subscribe to my channel. and let me know if there are any particular questions that you would like to do. And thank you very much for listening.